Segun Starchild, Black Egyptians, you cannot stop my fate. This video is a long time in the making, but today is the day that you will get to bear witness to a message from the gods. Polygyny, who will stand up for the truth. I need to speak this truth to you motherfuckers. I need to speak this truth to you motherfuckers. I need to speak this truth to you motherfuckers. Oh, I'm gonna go in today. So let's get this thing started. Let me start off by saying this. Because I work in structure, one block at a time. Nwapu is the science of sound right reasoning. Nwapu is also right knowledge, right wisdom, and right understanding. That's the culture that I follow. That's the culture that I'm aligned with. And that's the culture that's in me. That's the culture that I resonate with. You see, in order for you to want to do something and be good at something, it has to be in you. Everybody has one talent or gift that if they hone and develop can make them a millionaire and give them the life they've always dreamed about. So as you venture through this journey called life, you're gonna have to at some point define your culture, define your rules, define your status, and define the framework of a particular segment of your life. For example, when it comes to diet, one might choose to be a vegan. After serious thought and research, a person might be unable to wrap their head around why it's healthy for them to consume dead animal and milk products. Just as an example. Within the framework of love, relationships and marriage, polygamy, and more specifically polygyny, is my chosen framework. I'm unable to wrap my head around monogamy, or why a man would choose to have only one woman for the rest of his adult life. I tried to figure it out, but my brain was unable to process it. So I've opted for polygyny. I mentioned the fact that I'm an Nwapian, and Nwapu is about facts. What society has done is put woman and man together in the same category and said monogamy is the de facto format of relationships. Well, actually, polygamy is the natural order of the African family structure. That's called a Sayana. And polygyny is also an African phenomenon. That's Elijah Baloyi. Instead of separating men and women like it was up until 50 years ago, society's taken a female's sexual nature and placed it on man. Now you wonder why everything's fucked up. As men, we're expected to be monogamous because the Catholic Church decreed it, because it's the law of the land. We're expected to be monogamous because women don't like it, because it hurts their feelings, because it's a woman's nature. Well, that's their nature, it's not ours, so we have a problem. You haven't separated agendas. Matthew 25:32 says, "Then he will divide them into two groups, just as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will put the righteous people at his right and the others at his left." Don't let me bring out the Bible for you niggas. Don't let me take you niggas to church. Today I was quote scripture for you, my brother. So instead of separating men and women, now you want to have transgender, now you want to have non-binary, men identifying as women, men or transsexuals being allowed to participate in female sports. Leah Thomas. Enter female toilet, serve a sentence in female prisons. How's that worked out for women? A woman got raped in the toilet with that rule. A female was raped in prison with that rule. It hurts women more than it hurts men. You got what you wanted. Are you happy? In Nwapu, we care a lot about the facts. We go to great lengths to establish the facts. We read books, my nigga. We do research. We're just not interested in feelings or faith. We genuinely want to know the truth. Therefore, we're unable to spend our entire lives believing in primary school level concepts that the world was created in 7 days, or Adam and Eve and Noah's Ark. We Egyptians were of the higher mysteries. The Bible and Quran are plagiarized from it. That video is coming soon. In the WAPI, we put information through tests to establish whether something is a fact or a fallacy. The tests are 1. Experience, 2. Evidence, 3. Reason. And if it passes all 3 tests, then and only then can we call it a fact and follow it with true conviction. Now granted, there are some things which can only be proven at the end of the world and in the afterlife, but for general everyday things like whether or not you're going to get vaccinated, you better apply some serious research and testing or reason, or your life may never be the same again. This is just the intro, we're just getting started. The title of this video is Polygamy, Who Will Stand Up for the Truth? Because I've noticed that when it comes to polygyny, everyone suddenly becomes fucking stupid. Everyone suddenly becomes fucking stupid and no one has a backbone anymore. Yeah, you know full well the Bible accepts polygamy and you call yourself a Christian. I made the video, does the Bible condone polygyny? But oh no, I don't want polygyny. If you get another woman, I'll leave. That's Old Testament. Jesus came when the law was renewed. That's olden days. You're living in ancient times. The world has moved on from that. If a man can get another wife, why can't a woman get another husband? Bitch. How is a woman gonna tell me I'm living in ancient times? And I've had that said to me. I'm living in ancient times. Well, I do like to watch period dramas, but that's besides the point. I've shown you Bible quotes, in all seriousness. I said before to you woman, Bible study on Monday, quiet practice on Tuesday, prayers on Wednesday, cell group meeting on Thursday, church rehearsal on Friday, propagating on Saturday, and back to church on Sunday. Every day, you're doing something related to God, but you can't follow the rules. You're fake. You're fake, just admit it, because you can't fool me. And some of you Muslim sisters too. I said before, the Quran clearly condones polygyny, but you reject it. You see, I ain't letting you off the hook either. What's the point? I mean, why bother, right? Even following a religion if you don't truly believe in it. You can't truly believe in it because if you did, you would accept polygamy with open arms. You're also going against the word of God. So what's the point? You know how stupid it sounds? Just leave your religion and denounce your God. I made that video too. So let's do polygamy, bitch. In the name of the Heavenly Father, Jesus Christ. Katika jina la Yesu Kristo. Let's do this thing. Let's just assume for a moment that me, Segun Starchild, I can't convince you. And that's okay, don't do it for me. Do it for your God. Nope, I can't. Well then that makes you a fucking hypocrite. You're just fake. All the church shit is just for show. You don't really believe in the word. You don't really believe that's God's plan for humanity. You don't have the common sense to understand that this helps everybody. In fact, what do you believe in? See, now I'm questioning your integrity as a human, and that will never end well. You see how this shit can go? They only stopped allowing priests to marry to keep the wealth in the church. They only stopped families from doing polygamy to keep the wealth in the government. Monogamy benefits institutions. Polygamy benefits family. Let me say that again. Monogamy benefits institutions. Polygamy benefits family. Do your research. It was purely monetary, as it always is with the white man. So the church shit won't work. We've tried that. Okay, let's try this. We're African. So, we're all African. So what's the point? Polygyny is more widespread in Africa than any other continent. Throughout the African polygyny belt, stretching from Senegal in the west to Tanzania in the east, as many as a third to a half of married women are in polygamous unions. And the polygyny is found especially in West Africa. There's a lecturer called Elijah Baloyi who teaches theology at the University of South Africa. He wrote a paper called Critical Reflections on Polygamy in the African Christian Context, where he states, polygamy is a phenomenon often associated with African people. In almost all African societies, polygamy is an acceptable and valid form of marriage. In fact, monogamy has been associated with people of lower social status. So now I have to be putting out journals for you niggas. Now I have to do another fucking dissertation for you bitches. He says, monogamy has been associated with people of lower social status. And you wonder why we use the term high value male. Listen, don't let me go Kevin Samuels on you hoes. Don't let me go Kevin Samuels on you bitches. Let's not do this, I beg of you. Please. High value men don't cheat. They exercise options. So here I am, moving from the Christian side of things, to the African standpoint. But Mr. Baloyi here, he's merged the two, addressing it from the African Christian context. All roads lead to Rome. Family, are you feeling me? Because I'm flowing right now. If you feel me, like and subscribe, join my Patreon. This is a message from the gods. Kiss the ring. We've been doing this shit for thousands of years. Since the time of the first men. Shout out to my Game of Thrones fans out there. Nowhere on this god-forsaken planet is polygyny more prevalent than in Africa. I don't care which part you go to, north, south, east, west, sub-Sahara, we're all doing it. Most of us Africans, if we're all third generation, have grandparents who did this, you're probably in your 30s or 40s. It's highly possible that either your granddad had multiple wives or your grandma was one of many wives on both sides of the family. It's highly probable, you already know. You don't need me to tell you anything. You've seen it yourself for when you go back to Ghana. You've seen it yourself when you go back to Nigeria. You've seen it yourself when you go back to Sierra Leone. Or any African country for that matter. You've seen the documentaries on TV and YouTube. Sister wives. Seeking sister wives. Uthando Nethembu. Whatever it may be, you know the fucking truth. The population of Nigeria is 200 million. Meanwhile, the populations of Europe and North America are falling. How did we get to this population explosion? We might as well take over the world in all seriousness, yeah. But yet you motherfuckers want to act stupid. They have to employ a whole minister of sex. A whole minister of sex appointed, I kid you not, to reverse the low birth rate in countries in Europe, which in their own words had been described as apocalyptic. While over in Africa there's no such things. Let's go into it. Several European countries, Spain, Italy, Denmark, are offering all sorts of bonuses and incentives for couples to make more babies. There's a Do It for Denmark campaign to encourage more people to go on romantic trips that encourage baby making. The average fertility rate in the EU was 2.4 children per woman. Now it's dropped to 1.5. A rate of 2.1 birth rate is required to ensure a stable population. Just stable, not thriving, stable. You ain't got to go over to Africa to pay them to reproduce, my nigga. Like, I'm in Kenya, I'm in Nairobi. Shout out to my fucking Money Heist fans. I'm in Mombasa, yo. I literally live in a place called Wakanda. You can't make this shit up. You see, you wanna see how shit goes down in Africa on a Saturday night? Anywhere in the world for that matter. You can just save your money right there. You don't need to appoint no sex minister out here, fam. Okay, let me ask you a question. What time is it? I don't know. What's your name? Bruv, you're looking at me like you don't understand English. And I've been to Tanzania. Trust me, there's people in Tanzania that don't speak English. Imagine someone got stabbed, they lost their life. They were a civilian, they weren't even in some gang related shit. You were there. Police comes over, ask you, who did it? I don't know. I didn't see. You were standing right there. Who killed this man? Silence. That's how some of you act when it comes to polygyny. You suddenly know nothing, like your mind has just been erased. You let people suffer and injustice prevail over what? Some of you niggas been with the same chick 10 plus 15 years, haven't even sniffed another woman. We must be cut from a different cloth. I can't. Better yet, I choose not to limit myself to that. You see, you're a better man than I am. No, actually, you're not. You're weak. Because I know the truth and I'm willing to fight for it. Polygyny. Who will stand up for the truth? I'm not gonna subject myself to the rule of a woman or let society dictate my life for me. Nah, sir. For the sake of our African culture, under the guiding light of our ancestors who have paved the way for us, let's do polygamy, bitch. No. No, nigga. Then you're lost. You're indoctrinated with a European with a Western mindset. You're not conscious. You're not black first. You're not unapologetically black African. You're following the white man's system. That's not our way and you know it. Same way you got that damn weave on your head. Don't come out here telling me you're conscious, because I will finish you. And if you follow the white man's framework of marriage, monogamy, then which other sociological frameworks do you follow of his? Feminism, public school, wage slavery? And how's that working out for you? Again, I'm questioning your integrity as a human. How do you think that will end? So try religion, didn't work. Tried to take it back to Africa, didn't work. So what now? Okay, let's try science. So now I'm gonna take you niggas back to school. Now we're back in science class. I already made the video, The Science of Polygyny. My nigga, I'll put in work. We already established the fact that there are genes responsible for this behavior, namely the DRD4 and the RS334 gene. And some men can only have 1 or 2 copies of the gene. The more copies of the gene you have, the less stable your prime relationship was in a system that's outlawed polygyny. You're gonna sit there and try and compare a woman's 1 egg to a man's billions of sperm. You're gonna sit there and try and compare a man's testosterone to a woman's estrogen. You can't deny that there are more females on the planet. So if every male got married, there would be plenty of women left over. In my apartment that I live in now in Kenya, bruv, the children got to play from like maybe around 4 to 6. It gets dark at 7. Do you know there's like maybe 12 girls, and I've got 2. There's like maybe 12 girls in the apartment, maybe 2 or 3 boys. And my kids, one's just baby, like 2 weeks old. The other's a year and 5 months. So she goes out to play. And I see them all just playing together as girls. Just girls running around the apartment. 12 girls, 2 boys, 3 boys. And that's just my apartment. Do you know how many children Genghis Khan had? Do you know how many children Fela Kuti fathered? There are reproductive payoffs to having multiple wives, family. You ensure the survival of your genes and expand your genes in the process. It's called gene flow. It's actually a thing. You should have seen my video. You should have seen the video about Olamide right now. Biologically, sex is designed for one main purpose, procreation. Anything else, that's extra. Facts, need I say more? My daughter is half Nigerian and half Kenyan, my nigga. Yoruba and Luya. We're strong. We're Bantus out here, be Maasai. All men around the world are doing the same thing. white, black, Asian, Oriental, mixed. How many women have been cheated on or will be cheated on? The reality is, you are practicing polygyny anyway, whether you like it or not. It's just closed polygyny, done in secret, in the dark, in the back of the booth. It's not open polygyny, done honestly and righteously, with both women knowing about each other or being in agreement, and possibly even having a relationship and forming family bonds with plenty of kids and sustained wealth accumulation. But you expect a man to go against his nature, go against his coding and be monogamous to you because your ass is so special, right? Wrong. Do you even know the premise of monogamy? The premise of monogamy is that you will get with someone and be together the rest of your lives and never cheat on them. Monogamy is a female sexual nature, it's not a man's sexual nature. We are different. How many relationships or sexual partners has the average person had in the last 2 years? If we were practicing monogamy, 90 to 95% of people would have just one relationship or sexual partner in the last 2 years. If we were really practicing monogamy, we'll learn to ourselves, family. You can date whoever and talk to different people non-sexually, but when you both as consenting adults decide to go into that boyfriend and girlfriend stage because you've ticked each other's boxes, monogamy means you should stay together. I could have said 3 years, and that would make the numbers a lot higher. The premise of monogamy even takes away desire, right? Because you can't truly desire something and not act on it. The mind first perceives, then the body acts on it. That would be impossible because the ultimate frontier, which I've referenced several times, say that's the sexual attraction between a man and woman, is beyond the physical plane of existence. So you're in a battle something on the astral plane with monogamy. Let me know how that works out for you. The title of this video is Polygyny. Who will stand up for the truth? So at this point, I have to give praise. Yeah, let me do my hand gestures. I have to give praise to people, particularly the females, who promote polygyny. Most of the average people, from the so-called pastors to the science teachers and tribal leaders, not forgetting most of our black leaders and celebrities, have failed to stand up for the truth. Actors, musicians, sports stars, they always get caught up in some kind of entanglement, scandal, but very rarely do any of them use polygyny as the basis of what they do, or promote polygyny throughout culture. What if celebrity couples endorsed polygyny? That video's coming soon. You see, it's one thing for a man to stand up for the truth, because there are many who don't have the guts to speak out. But for a sister, for a woman, for a female, for a goddess, to stand up for the truth regarding polygyny, that takes a certain level of overstanding. It takes a certain level of love. It takes a certain level of spirituality, my nigga. You see, I can't think of a better word. They deserve praise. They have elevated to the level of a goddess. They have become the embodiment of Ma'at. Yes, we are black Egyptians, and I, Segun Starchild, an indigo child and one path soul who's been sent here to get us back on the right path and in alignment with our original ways, commend you, should I say. So without further ado, Goddess Ayana, she has stood up for the truth. Patricia Dixon Spear, she has stood up for the truth. Fundi Faye, she has stood up for the truth. The Mecca Wife Coach, she has stood up for the truth. Olamide Badebo, she has stood up for the truth. Love Dorsey, she has stood up for the truth. Shahzad Ali, she stood up for the truth. I'm gonna mention some men. Akon, he has stood up for the truth. Dr. Umar Johnson, he has stood up for the truth. Ringo TV Raw, he has stood up for the truth. Segun Starchild, I have stood up for the truth. There's a reason why I put the goddess Ma'at at the center of the video cover. Why? because she's the goddess of truth, justice and righteousness. We are black Egyptians. We're men, it's our birthright, it's our culture, and it's our genetics. The 3 tenets of polygyny, I dropped that before. When we talk about standing up for the truth, how many of you remember Monique? The Monique saga with Netflix? How many of you remember? We already know she's an extremely talented comedian at the top of her game, one of the best in the industry. She came out 2 years ago and said that Netflix and Hollywood cancelled her because she wanted too much money. Compared to her white counterpart, she wasn't getting paid what she deserved, and she expressed her concerns to her black celebrity cones. She went to Steve Harvey, she went to Oprah Winfrey, she went to Lee Daniels, she went to Tyler Perry, she went to the CEO of Lionsgate, and what did they say? Leave your husband. Leave your husband? Forget about the young girls coming up. You burnt too many bridges. You went about it wrong. There's nothing I can do for you. That's what all these rich black entertainers like herself could come up with. Now my question is this: why didn't those same people support her? We're black, right? We're family, right? We're supposed to stick together, right? They're all in the entertainment biz, right? Black network, black bourgeoisie. Saying that, did any other black people in the entertainment industry come out and support her? Did Denzel Washington come out and support her? No. Did Will Smith come out and support her? No. Did Jamie Foxx come out and support her? No. Did Angela Bassett come out and support her? Or Halle Berry or any other black celebrity come out and support her? No. They left her out to hang dry. They left her there in the wilderness. They didn't stand up for the truth. Her family suffered from this. She lost money. She didn't have the emotional well-being of being in a stable career that it would normally give you. She lost the ability to use her God-given and well-honed talents to make money to support herself and her family. None of them in real time were strong enough to come out and publicly and say, we can't throw our sister under the bus. But what hurt her really is that they all said in private, on the phone to her, she wasn't wrong. All of them. But publicly, didn't have the guts or the balls to defend her. They did nothing, expecting her to shut up and take the crumbs from the master's table. It's 2022, family, going into 2023 in literally a couple days. It's time to rule this shit. It's time to take over. But they don't have those godly genes. They're not from our etheric family. They're not filled with the spirit of the ancestors. The truth doesn't reside in them. They're cut from a different cloth. They didn't stand up for the truth. You see, when you stand up for polygyny, you create a better environment for the future. You set things up for a better world and a better society, because monogamy isn't working for us as black people. Monogamy has devastated our communities. It's broken us all up time and time again. It's left us broke, because after breaking up or divorcing, you become two separate entities. Left lies at the center of our relationships, made single mothers, left children without a father, left constant arguments or break up between couples. It's literally a cancer in our families. In Monique's words, we've got to get to a place where we're unafraid to say it out loud. So you're a Christian or Muslim and you refuse to accept the truth that your scripture accepts polygamy. You fail to stand up for the truth. You're African, but you want to refuse to accept the truth that our ancestors practiced polygyny for thousands of years, and polygyny is ingrained in our culture, and families are generally better off in polygynous relationships. You fail to stand up for the truth. You're a scientist, a nurse, doctor, a biologist, but you refuse to accept the truth that the human male is built to have many wives and father many children. You fail to stand up for the truth. So I named all the people earlier who stood up for the truth. Well, guess what? Lee Daniels didn't stand up for the truth. Whoopi Goldberg didn't stand up for the truth. Tyler Perry didn't stand up for the truth. Steve Harvey didn't stand up for the truth. The president of Lionsgate didn't stand up for the truth. And all the other black comedians, actors, sports stars and musicians failed to stand up for the truth. There's a movie called 12 Angry Men. It was made in 1954. Old school, my niggas. In the movie, a teenager was convicted of murdering his abusive father. He was facing 25 years in prison. During the court proceedings, 11 of the jurors found him guilty. Only one didn't. This one man dissented, declaring him not guilty. And eventually he persuaded the other jurors to support a unanimous not guilty verdict. It took one strong, determined and honourable gentleman to stand up for the truth and stop a teenage boy's life from being ruined before it had even started. He stood up for the truth. See, when we test polygyny under our 3-tier system of evidence, experience and reason, it passes every time. We can see, if we're being honest with ourselves, that it's a requirement. We get to the point that it transcends the right or wrong scale. It's a requirement. Yeah, it's a reality. I can't eat Weetabix every day. Sometimes I want Shreddies. Sometimes I want Cheerios. Sometimes I want porridge. Let me enjoy my life. Look, when I first arrived here in Kenya, I had 3 girlfriends. And I've had more than one several occasions. But I had 3 consistent girlfriends, right? 2 were skinny and dark. 1 was slim, thick and fair. Do you know that the light-skinned girl said that I'm not her type? Because when she saw the other 2 women who were skinny and dark-skinned, for all intents and purposes, she was fine and she had the biggest ass, like literally. Instead of you to celebrate your own uniqueness, women are insecure and spend their time worrying about other bitches. I like variety. If I choose someone to be my girlfriend, I will love and appreciate you as you are. And I don't need you telling me what my type is because you don't know who I was with before. I literally had to show a picture of my other girl in London. You only see who I'm with now, and you obviously have a limited view of the situation, which is playing on your insecurities. The way I've been fighting for polygyny is the same way I had to go to get to Gambia. The way I've been fighting for polygyny is the same way I had to go fight to get to the Gambia. The way I've been fighting for polygyny is the same way I had to fight to get to the Gambia. Look, when I was leaving Nigeria to go to Gambia in January 2020 before coronavirus kicked off, I was at a church service with my newly married cousin Bimpe and her husband. I'd gone to Ikeja Mall to buy some clothes. There's this shop that has some badass clothes, and I wanted to cop that before I left. So as I'll be leaving Nigeria that evening, the whole time we were doing the church events, wedding events. I don't have time to go to the mall. I'd gone to Lekki to go out party with my friends in London. Old tight Tosi. I left the Airbnb while most of my stuff was still in the main house. The problem was the house was locked and we didn't even know who had the key. So I'd come back in an Uber from Lekki back to Yaba. We're supposed to go to Sierra Leone, but I just thought, look, better to go to Yaba where everyone is rather than getting there to an empty house with a locked door. Go to Yaba. Took me a while to find a church, but eventually I did. Got there in the end. Now, all my aunties and uncles were there, so I relaxed a bit. No, someone was about to have the keys. Like, I'm a family now. Someone's got the keys to the house, right? So, did all the intros, the greetings. You know how Nigerians now. So I would have loved to stay. It was a vibe. It was a party. You know what I mean? We play out here, bruv. There was jollof rice. The husband was offering me some whiskey. You know I like to party, bruv. So I took a shot, had a drink. I was like, thank you, bro. But I have a flight to Gambia. When? This evening. So I told my dad, and he spread the word. Finally, my auntie got involved, and she was like, Segun, are you going back to the Gambia this evening? Or should I say, are you going to the Gambia this evening? I said, yes, ma'am. My flight is at 7. At that time, I'd just gone past 3. And she acted with seriousness. She kicked in. She got into gear. She said, let me find the key for you, Joe. So she found the key, gave it to my cousin Femi. I said, Femi, please take Segun to the airport this evening. So we rushed home with the keys, driving from Yaba to Shuwelere. Finally got home, we had to pack my bags, triple check I didn't forget anything, and we set out for the airport. Now we're driving, there's traffic. We stopped to get some petrol. Got stopped at a UC Solokwa, wanted to chop. Go through the bad roads. By this time, it's gone completely dark. You know there's no lights in Nigeria. Finally, we arrived close to the airport. We could see the airport, there was traffic. Then all of a sudden, people start panicking and leaving their cars and walking to the airport with their suitcases and luggage in hand. Now, you know me, I'm not one to follow. So I sat there. I let them do their thing, right? But time was moving. Like, time's steady flowing right now. Traffic line was not moving, it was slow. 15 minutes later, we're still in the line of fucking traffic, right? Airport still in front of us. We can see the airport, but we're not moving. There's loads of fucking cars, in a row, in a line. Those of you who've been to the airport, Mohammed Batala Apel, you know what I'm saying. You've experienced this shit for yourself. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. So I'm like, look, maybe I should just come out the car and walk to the airport. I'm practically here. I don't want to miss my flight. So I leave the car to join the madness. My cousin family did a great job getting me there. You know what it's like driving Lagos at night. To the airport, at that. Who was this Formula 1 shit, bro? Cuss this guy out. Are you stupid? What are you doing? Skirt, next gear, check your rear view. Nitrous, dodge policeman, avoid gutters. Lock your car windows to avoid beggars knocking on your door. I'm going to the airport, I don't have time for this shit. In Jesus' name, can I please get to the Gambia? Is that okay? Is that alright? The same way man had to struggle to catch my flight to Gambia, that's the same kind of energy you need to do polygyny. You need energy, family, a sustained effort. You can't just give up at the first hurdle. You just got to keep going. And I made friends in Gambia. Alta Alfred. Trust, real cool people. This African thing ain't a joke to me, fam. Just like the motherfuckers who failed to speak out when I gave the stabbing example earlier. And I'm not cursing you, but karma is real. When you're in your time of need, the same way you denied me when I required you to speak up about polygyny, it's the same way that you'll be left alone in your time of need. No one will be there to save you. Let me share my truth with you now. Now I'm gonna make shit personal. I was in a relationship a few years back, and it was a nice relationship. We were close. We spent a lot of time together. Like Monique, there were several people who were in a position to support me in my quest for polygyny. First person who failed to stand up for the truth was her uncle. Can you believe her uncle was in Wapian? He was how would I say it? My tribal guy. Like, we're not of the same tribe, he's from Ghana, Nigeria, but we're all of the same, practically, religion. Like, you are brethren, you're supposed to be my brethren, you get me? Like, I'm saying brethren, yeah, not brethren, brethren. The nigga was a full-blown Wapian. Now, her father, my ex's dad, he went in her life. He gone. So her uncle was kind of like her father figure for her, yeah? And with him being conscious, he influenced her to the point that she even sought out a conscious guy like me. It was his doing, leading by example. It's okay, he was an Orpian. I don't remember seeing him around, he weren't really around like family class and question and answer class. He weren't really around in the Orpian scene, but he still knew a lot. He's still around in some way or shape. People come and go from the community, and it's all good, and that's cool. Maybe he stopped going to the classes, maybe he was inactive, but he would tell her all that right knowledge. Like he basically taught her the truth. to the point that she wanted the same thing, the same qualities in her man, or could at least appreciate it to a degree. So I come along, Segun Starchild, charmed her, made her laugh. You know, I'm a fine boy now. First year relationship, polygamy wasn't an issue, no major problems. Second year, wahala. To say the least, you know me, I'll be out there in London doing my thing, ladies lounge. Friends told me I'm moving to this girl. Parties, watching polygyny videos on YouTube, seeing tickets for parties on my laptop. I can't remember how it exactly happened because it was a while ago. And she ended up telling him about my polygynous intentions, my intention to bring in a second wife. Or three. Eventually, we end up speaking about it, right? Me and the uncle. And you know what he says to me? That's a bold move. Damn right, I'm a Segun Starchild, nigga. What do you expect? I'm an Awapian, you're an Awapian too. He says it's okay to do it in the right environment. But here the culture's not set up for that. So our relationship, my polygamy goal is based on us living in Ghana or Nigeria, Africa. We still stayed together after that dialogue, and I'm not blaming him for what eventually happened. I'm not blaming him for her leaving me. But he didn't say anything supportive. We live in London, we have our lives here. There's nothing stopping us from doing it here. And even if it was based on doing it in the right environment, like you said, you didn't put her straight. We actually did go back to Ghana for a holiday. We could have moved back there if we stayed together, if you wanted to. But in reality, what would it have achieved? Because you already put that doubt, that wrongness in her head that I was wrong, after claiming to follow right knowledge. So for him, he was just a fake and a hypocrite. The girl, my ex, obviously had a problem with it, and you didn't do anything to teach her the truth. I'm here to tell you my story. I moved on, trust me, but this is a story that needs to be told. I'm in Kenya now, I got my wife now, I got 2 children with her. I'm happy. And hopefully the Most High will continue blessing me with plenty more children and maybe another wife. Katika jina la Yesu Kristo. But I have to share this story with you. This needs to go down in the Akashic records. 1, you're Ghanaian. You're African. 2, you're an Awapian. You're supposed to be about the truth, not cave in to Western society, which you know doesn't work. And 3, you know we're good together. He didn't stand up for the truth. The second scenario I want to tell you about is my mum had a hairdresser and I was getting my locks done for the first time, so she basically forwarded me onto her. I went back to the house, was there with my girl. We do a lot together. Like, we did a lot together, so I brought her along, right? I don't know how it happened. I won't say I've got a big mouth, but I'm not shy about who I am. I'm not shy about my goals. So I practically mentioned something along those lines about polygyny, right? And it turns out the husband of the wife who was doing my hair, he's actually a Muslim from Nigeria. His dad did polygyny. He's got brothers and sisters, half brothers and sisters from those different wives. He's lived it, he's done it, he knows about it. Now for him, his problem was that when his father died, the woman didn't stick together. The women started arguing about this, that and the other. It was generally, basically a bad experience. Now I get that. Sometimes it's not gonna work out for everyone. Sometimes there are things that's gonna go wrong. But that should be no reason for you to stop me or to at least have some good things to say about the situation. he basically said things along the line of saying to my girlfriend now, if I was your brother, I would beat you. I'm wrong for that. I can't remember everything per se. He basically made me look bad. Now he's a Muslim. He's African. I would expect him to stand up for the truth. I would expect him to say, yo, for me, it didn't really go well. My dad should have done this. He should have done this. If you do polygamy, do it this way. Make sure you have a will. Make sure everyone's got their own land. Make sure everyone's got their own compound. Make sure everyone knows that if eventually you die, the wife don't have to fight. Right? But as a Christian, as a Muslim, as an African, that's who we are. So if you don't want to go about it, I ain't gonna force you. I ain't gonna force you to do nothing. It's your life. But we're Africans. And I've lived my life, and I can tell you that most men do this shit. If you're Segun right now, you might get another guy who's worse than him, who's got more chicks, who doesn't even tell you. At least he's honest about it. At least he wants to do it rightfully. I'm a Muslim, and polygamy is in my Quran. You're a Christian, polygamy is in your Bible. If you don't know, do your research. At this point, you need to meditate, you need to really think about what we're doing with your life, because he obviously wants to do this shit. You're his girlfriend. I'm not telling you to do it, but what I am gonna do is support it. Right? All I can do is pray for your wisdom. You can pray for your own wisdom and guidance, do your meditation to see what you should do with your own life. But as a Muslim and African man, I will stand up for polygyny. If you said that, I would have been happy. No problems. The last is my parents. When I was with the same girl, obviously I was doing my thing, trying to get out of a woman, trying to focus on this polygamy thing. It came to the point that my mum and the girl had become quite close. They had each other on WhatsApp, so they could communicate with each other. The girl, the ex, basically said something to my mum along the lines of, she said to me, if your own mother doesn't understand you, how can I understand you? Right? Again, I would have put my mum as an African, as a Christian, to say, look, you chose Segun as your boyfriend. Yeah, I can see you two make a very good couple together. Again, I'm not going to force you into polygamy, right? That's your choice. Only you can make that decision. But what I am going to tell you is that you could be passing up the love of your life right now. You could dump him, and you could do that today if you wanted to. You could dump him, meet other guys. No one will make you laugh like he does. No one will give it to you like he does. No one will make you happy as he does. At the end of the day, where are you going to be? You can marry a guy just because he's not polygynous. But are you going to be happy? The top guys out there have the ability to attract multiple women. If you want, you can get the guy who doesn't have those abilities, who is of a lesser standard, who isn't going to attract these women, and he might not even think or dream about cheating or even be able to cheat. Is that going to make you happy? You're a young lady, you like dressing up, you like doing your thing. You want other women, as a woman, to be on your mind. It means you got something special. My mum didn't have that conversation with her. Didn't fight for my corner. Again, I'm not expecting anyone to tell her, stay with Segun, do that. I'm not expecting that conversation. But I'm expecting them to fight for the truth. To fight for the right. To fight for the principle. That's what I expected. I spoke to my dad about it as well, and my dad, he didn't have a problem with it. All he said was, if you want to do it, if you want to do polygamy, go to the village. And since he told me that, it was always back in my mind that if I want to do this polygamy thing, I'm going back to Africa. That was always back in my mind, right? I'm not sure if I can remember fully, but I remember a conversation where he kind of said to me that he would go to the village with me, because I've been to Lagos, I'm from Lagos, I've been to Africa many times, but I don't necessarily go to the village. So like, I don't want to go to the village by myself. Dad, come with me, come true. You know the village, you grew up there, let's do this thing. When it came to talking about it, he denounced it. He said, no, I don't agree to that. Now, I can't remember it fully, but I was of the assumption that he said he would. he denied it completely. Now, that's a small issue, I'm just mentioning it because I'm here to share my truth. But these people, my family friend, and I'm naming names, Nuhu, my family friend Nuhu. Her uncle, I forgot his name. My parents, my mom specifically, my dad's mom was very small, but I'm just mentioning it. They didn't stand up for the truth. They weren't there for me in my time of need. And it's not even about me. It's as great as I am, right? And yes, I think very highly of myself. It's bigger than me. It's about the truth. This is for the community. It's impossible to build healthy relationships, families and communities with lies an integral part of them. Patricia Dixon Spear. So we've seen how those mentioned above reacted. In case you're none the wiser, let me tell you how they should have reacted. It goes a little something like this. Look girl, whoever, whatever your name is, I know you're concerned and confused by a man's actions. You guys are obviously a good couple and you chose him. You've been together for however or so many years and have a lot of memories together. Men are supposed to be polygamous. I know it hurts, and trust me, I've been there by myself with your dad or another guy. The truth is the Bible condones polygyny, and so does the Quran. Maybe they know something that we don't. In Africa, we always have done polygamy, and men's biological makeup is meant to be with more than one female. You have to think about purpose, yours and his. You could help him create the family he's always dreamed of, or the business that he might make him a millionaire, that you yourself can benefit from. If you call yourself a Christian, then you're supposed to be submissive and are subject to him. Running away or acting up isn't submission. What if God has sent you an angel? If you truly can't stand it, you can always leave him. You have free will, but you might get another guy and not love him the same way, or that bond you share wouldn't be as strong as you had with Segun. What if you get with a man and he also cheats, or also wants a polygamous relationship? You're gonna leave him as well? You'll be back at square one. Or you could just get an average or below average guy who other girls aren't really checking for. You could regret it for the rest of your life. Maybe not now, but maybe sometime in the future you could regret it. Many women have been down this road. You're not the only one. I advise you to meditate and pray for guidance. If you love him, then you shouldn't leave him because of that. You should at least respect his honesty. It's natural. Men have strong desires, and he's obviously a good-looking guy with swag and lots of potential. So you can't act surprised that the other woman would find him attractive. He's a young man. You can't be surprised that he's going to try and get other women. If you love him, if you truly love him, then trust his judgment. You never know, it might surprise you. You could one day meet a lovely sister wife and you guys will have an amazing relationship. You can help each other, raise your kids together, help him with his businesses, and live happy, comfortable lives in the truth. Not worrying about who he's with, not even knowing where he's at. You can't spend your life wondering about who he's with or what he's doing. It will eat you up inside. So like I said, meditate and pray for guidance. Then go and discuss this with him and ask him how he wants to do this. Then you can make your final decision. That's what I would expect someone with the truth inside of them. Someone who has a spirit of God, who is a true African or Hebrew Israelite or Muslim, or someone in my corner with the best intentions for me to say. When I was first talking to my wife now, she told her mum about me. I was doing the same shit. I had a couple girlfriends. She told her mum about my other girlfriends. Showed her pictures of them. She showed her pictures of me while I was still talking to her, to her mum. And her mum encouraged her to get with me. And when I had these other girlfriends, she threatened to leave me. You wanna know what her mum told her? You shouldn't leave him. Set up a home, build a family. In other words, don't worry about them other bitches. Think about the bigger picture. Worry about your life with him and how you can progress. You can't get rid of them that. She put my wife straight. She spoke the truth to power. She spoke truth to power. She pretty much saved our relationship. And I will forever be grateful to her for that. Trust me, you can send that to the heavens. There's only so much you can say or do. Women aren't the best decision makers because they lack critical thinking, they follow the crowd, it's a herd mentality, and they take solace in doing whatever everyone else is doing. It's the men that can stand firm on the spot and say, fuck the world. You wanna know what mother-in-law did? She stood up for the fucking truth. She has the spirit of God. Polygyny is obviously a goal for me. It's a fascinating subject, that's why I talk about it. And once in a while, may come up in conversation. William Irving, the writer of The Polygamist, says, and I quote, "Living with a harem is a fairly common male fantasy. I've certainly held it myself for as long as I can remember. There have been periods where the idea came to me so often and so vividly that I actually contemplated making it a reality." You see, that's what separates the men from the boys, and that's what separates the winners from the losers. You can make it your reality. You have to chase it with everything you've got. If you want to do polygamy, then do polygamy. It's as simple as that. You can defy the odds, you can win, but you have to try, you have to believe. Now, I felt some type of way that these people didn't stand up for me, my family more than the rest. But ultimately, it was her decision to leave the relationship. So I'm not blaming them. I've moved on and I've got my family now. I've got my wife, I've got my children. But I didn't appreciate it. And these people were just catalysts for what was to come eventually. However, if people told her the truth, things could have been different. Now, my mum has made amends with my new relationship because she's done things. She's put her straight in some ways. A woman may feel empowered that she's leaving you if you're gonna cheat, that you'll regret losing her. And she's punishing you because she's conditioned to think that way. They're conditioned to think that cheating and wanting a polygamous relationship is awful and they deserve better. And they shouldn't have to subject themselves to such a life. And they should be enough for you, even though their own Bible says they are subject unto their husband. But the truth is, they're actually disempowering themselves. Because guess what? They gave us their bodies for free. For free. They gave us their time, energy, and love. Yeah, we might have given them a bit of money, taken them places, maybe even a holiday or two, but that's small money, really, in the grand scheme of things. For them to leave without any children or marriage, they leave empty-handed, but they gave us their bodies, they gave us their pussy to vagina. It's like an investment that made no profit. Whereas some investments can 10x. By leaving, they actually lose out on a hell of a lot as well. It's worse if you're married and she leaves because by that time you've already invested a lot. That's a covenant under God, and it's complicated if you have kids. Either way, I'm bringing this up because the same way I was betrayed, the same way Monique was betrayed and Jesus was betrayed by his own disciple Judas Iscariot with the kiss of death for 30 pieces of silver. And to make matters worse, he was also disowned by his other disciple Peter. Let's read it. Matthew 26:69. Now Peter was sitting out in the courtyard and a servant girl came to him. "You also were with Jesus of Galilee," she said. But he denied it before them all. "I don't know what you're talking about," he said. They went out to the gateway, where another servant girl saw him and said to the people there, "This fellow was with Jesus of Nazareth." He denied it again with an oath. "I don't know the man." After a little while, those standing there went up to Peter and said, "Surely you're one of them. Your accent gives you away." Then he began to call down curses, and he swore to them, "I don't know the man." Immediately a rooster crowed. Then Peter remembered the word Jesus had spoken. "Before the rooster crows, you will disown me 3 times." And he went outside and wept bitterly. So if Jesus, the Son of God, can be betrayed, then so can I. And he predicted it. He knew exactly how it would happen. He could have called him his father, who would have sent him 12 legions of angels to his rescue. And he said in verse 54, "But how then would the scriptures be fulfilled that say it must happen in this way?" It was a necessary thing that had to happen. From verse 56, "But this has all taken place that the writings of the prophets might be fulfilled." So he had full knowledge of his betrayal and still chose to take his cross to meet his death because he knew it was bigger than him. He knew he was here to fulfill prophecy, not just save his own life. That's how women should approach polygyny. Knowing it's not just about them. It's about the good of the community, men and women and children, in an extension of self. We want for our sisters what we want for ourselves. Judas and Peter enjoyed short pleasures, small money. But his punishment was so big, Jesus said it was better for him if he had not been born, and ultimately cost him eternal life. Judas betrayed Jesus and Peter disowned him. They failed to stand up for the truth. We're in the last days of 2022, on the brink of a global awakening. We'll move on to the fourth density. Some of us trying to connect with our ancestors and their favourite parents, having a spiritual awakening, a return to our way of life. We can also seek guidance from them on how they lived, their culture. Sister Esther said this: "We must objectively re-examine structures that were the backbone of their historical development." Many of us want to and will return to Africa, but this isn't just about merely living on the continent. We have to return to our own way of life, to our own culture and principles based on truth, ancestors and the community. Ma'at, truth, justice and righteousness. Polygyny is in us genetically. Our ancestors did it. It's part of our culture and religion. So why fight it? These are the three tenets of polygyny: science, religion, culture. I dropped that video too. This is who we are. You cannot be anything other than yourself. You can try. You might get away with it a few months or even a few years, but eventually the real you will come out. You can't beat nature. It will win every time. They're showing the movies, all the animals are moving in one direction. And you want to go in the opposite direction, towards the threat, not even knowing what it is. You will be finished. Trying to fight it will only lead to misery and heartbreak. You know how you felt when you got cheated on. And I can't feel sorry for you because you haven't been raised in the truth. You're operating on low frequency. You need to raise your spirituality. And I think in that video too, the spirituality of polygyny. Do the honourable thing for once in your life. There's a Christian blog called Biblical Gender Roles. It is the truth. Shit is hard, and I recommend you to go check that out. Google search Biblical Gender Roles. There's one article he wrote on blog post. The headline is, "Peace comes through living the way our Creator designed us." So you have to stand up for your own truth and tell your girlfriend, tell your wife, you want and deserve another woman. If she threatens to go, then let her go, because it means she's not your woman. It's just your turn. That's MGTOW 101 for you, my niggas. Trust me. You'd eventually find your queen, and secretly she will know she lost the man of her dreams and she blew it. Kevin Samuel has an entire video of that. It's better than a lifetime of control and unhappiness. How long can you lie to yourself? I've given you enough material by now to fully understand your nature and not even be scared to shout out from the rooftops. This is permitted by God, by Allah. John 14:21 says, "Whoever accepts my commandments and obeys them is the one who loves me. My Father will love whoever loves me." These women don't love God, because if they did, they would accept his commandments. Oh, you say, oh, it's not a commandment. It's in there. He sanctified it. So let them go, because you deserve someone who is real, not fake. John 15:19 says, "If you belong to the world, then the world would love you as its own. But I choose you from this world." We're from a different world. They are from this world. How can you expect them to follow the truth when they're not from the same place? It's a different environment, different everything. We're from Atlantis, my nigga. We're from Egypt, black Egyptians. the only surviving culture from Atlantis. We don't belong to it. That is why the world hates us. And it may seem that we're losing and we're stagnant and everyone else is making moves, but this is the long game. We're not trying to get married just for the sake of it and then get divorced after 3 years. No. Just be a player and keep searching for the right woman who will willingly accept it. And if you have to, travel across the world like I did. John 16:33 says, the world will make you suffer, but be brave. I have defeated the world. The name Segun means God is the victor. John 18:37 says, I was born and came into the world for this one purpose, to speak the truth. Whoever belongs to the truth listens to me. Family, the book of John is deep, you know. I was born and came into the world for this one purpose, to speak about the truth. Polygyny, who will stand up for the truth? You can't say it any clearer. So embrace and stand firm to who you truly are. If your current wife or girlfriend doesn't listen to you, she doesn't belong to the truth. And some will say whatever is done in the dark will be brought out in the light. Okay. So listen, tell your girl, I'm going to see Becky tonight. She'll be coming to spend the weekend with me in a few weeks. She just has to get some confirmation from work. That's how it's got to be, family. We can't hide no more because we are literally brought into the world to speak the truth. We've seen it ourselves. However, wouldn't it be better if we all hung out together? Rather than me going out to Becky tonight and leaving you by yourself. How about we can all go to the beach? We can all go to a bar, we can all go to a club, we can all go to a restaurant. Shit, we can go to a Tamu. We can go to a Kunda Malindi. We can have a great time if you wanted. Like, we ain't got to do a threesome, that's all long. Like, we ain't got to, but we can have a great time together. Instead of me going out, you leaving at home. But no. Monogamy is bad. You're a bad person for monogamy. No. They think monogamy is really bad and it's degrading for women. It's not allowed. So guess what, Becky? Becky can spend the weekend with me and have a great time, and you can be stuck at home bored. We even have to go to work. While I'm out here, Becky having fun. I mean, you females don't want to come together in truth and righteousness. So we create a situation as men where one person wins and the other loses. Women should be at least willing to meet each other. You never know. You might even have some great things in common. You might even be friends. Do the meeting, see for yourself. If you say no, fine, you've met, you know this woman ain't right for us, move on, find another one. Years ago when I started my polygyny journey, I brought 3 females together, all from different countries in Africa. Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and Kenya. We had a group chat, we talked for a while. I met 2 of them, but I didn't meet the girl from Sierra Leone, that's the only one I haven't met. Now, it didn't really work out with the other 2, we had our differences, but can you believe the girls from Nigeria and Sierra Leone are now best friends? They were together like a couple months ago as I speak. They even sent me pictures. One time I asked the girl from Sierra Leone if they were still talking, and she said, of course, she's my sister. I know it didn't work out between us, but thank you for bringing us together. That's what she said to me. Fam, that warmed my heart. This is the power of polygamy. They have a sisterhood that developed outside of me. I brought them together, but they developed into a relationship. Sometimes things don't work out, and not everything is meant to be, but when it does, it's fucking brilliant. And they did it without me even involved. All I did was bring them together, and shit happened by itself. That's the position you want to be in, fam. It was fucking brilliant. Now, I got a boy, Ricky, a friend of Ricky. I told him about polygamy years ago, like literally a decade ago. He was never down with it. He said it was unfair for the women and never wanted to hurt them like that. Years later, I'm talking to Ricky like, this is last year, like 8 or 9 years later. Almost a decade, he comes to me and says, you know what, Shakes, I found this great girl. She could be a potential sister wife. We connected on another level. I was surprised, happy and sad for him at the same time because he chose not to pursue it. But in my head I'm thinking, bruv, I told you this nearly 10 years ago. We were in our mid-20s, now you're telling me this? Fam, People have never really sat down and contemplated this. They haven't really thought about this deeply. They're quick to brush it off and not even paying no mind or attention. John 4:1. Yeah, we're quoting scriptures, bruv. My dear friends, do not believe all who claim to have the Spirit, but test them to find out if the Spirit they have comes from God. They don't have the Spirit of God. They don't come from God. They are of their father, the devil. John 8:44. There's no in between, fam. You either follow God or the devil. John 7:19. Did not Moses give you the law, and yet none of you keepeth the law? Why go ye about to kill me? They've been given the law. They know the Bible. They know the Quran. But they don't want to keep the law, and now they want to make you feel guilty for doing something righteous and honorable. I'll be damned if I can't defend the truth. The same way that our ancestors were forced and conditioned into worshipping their gods, it's the same way we were conditioned into being monogamous. But these Europeans who colonized us don't even practice it themselves because they have mistresses or are whoremongers. In society and in law, it's better to seek the services of a prostitute than marry another woman. That's what people think and say. And you claim to be operating under God. If we're honest with a woman about our true intentions, more time, she's gonna not want to start a relationship with you, or if you are in a relationship already, well, she's gonna want to end the relationship. And you wonder why men are players and have secret wives, girlfriends, side chicks, and all the rest of it, or you wonder why men don't want to even get into relationships in the first place, serious ones. How is it possible to build successful relationships with lies at the core? How? And some women will get into relationship after relationship and get cheated on each time. What kind of madness is that? Ase is a West African philosophical concept through which the Yoruba of Nigeria conceived the power to make things happen and produce change. So on that note, Ase, to you watching, I hope one day you can stand up for the truth. Black Egyptians, Segun Starchild, you cannot stop my fate.